A very good afternoon to our lecturer, Dr. Sharifah Rahama binti Amirul. Today, I will be presenting our research titled How Employees in Sabah Perceive the Trade-off Between Higher Wages and Work-Life Balance. This study explores how employees evaluate the relationship between financial rewards and personal well-being, especially across different socio-economic income groups such as B40, M40, and T20. Now, I will begin with the introductions of our research team members. Before I start with the introduction of our research team members, I will start by clarifying that I am the representative presenter for our result and findings presentation. So now, I will start to introduce our research team members, starting by me. My name is Norjela binti Muhammad Nurdin, number matrix YE232-10038, followed by Azmansor bin Umrah YE232-70058, and Izzah Aziana binti Jakaria, number matrix YE202100055, and finally Nurul Aini Atira binti Adi Iskandar YE232-10060. Before we go further with our presentation, I will start with presenting the background study of our research. For our research, we have found that in today's working environment, employees in Sabah are facing increasing financial pressure due to the rising living cost and career expectation. On one hand, higher wages provide financial stability and security. However, on the other hand, higher paying positions are often linked to heavier workload, longer working hours, and greater responsibility. At the same time, work life balance have become increasingly important for mental health, family relationships, and overall well being. Therefore, this creates a trade off situation. Employees may need to choose between earning more income or maintaining personal balance. However, not all employees make this decision in the same way. We believe that socioeconomic income group may influence how this trade off is evaluated. This leads us to the problem statement. The main issue of this study that we have found is understanding how employees prioritize between income and work life balance. Specifically, we wanted to know whether financial position affects how much workload and stress employees are willing to tolerate. Additionally, we question whether higher wages are truly worth the psychological strain that may follow. Although many studies discuss work stress and work life balance, there is limited qualitative research focusing specifically on employees in Sabah. Therefore, our study aims to fill this gap. To address our problem statement previously, we have developed two research questions. First, how do employees in Sabah perceive the trade off between higher wages and work life balance? Second, how do employees from different socio-economic income groups, such as B40, M40, and T20, define and prioritize higher wages and work life balance differently? To answer these questions, we adopted a qualitative research approach. Just like I have previously stated, this study used a qualitative research designed to explore employees' lived experiences. We had interviewed 12 employees in Sabah from different sectors and income groups. The interview were conducted using semi-structured questions through WhatsApp text messages, and we collected data and analyzed them using inductive thematic analysis based on Brown and Clark's 2006 six-step framework. After that, we generated the initial codes from the interview extract and grouped them into teams and finally compared patterns across income groups. Now, I will move to the key finding of the study. There are two parts to the key findings of our study. First of all is research question 1 and then research question 2. For research question 1, we found that employees do not see higher wages as purely positive. Instead, their perception operates through three interconnected layers. First, higher wages represent economic security. Many participants associated income with financial stability, family responsibility, and long term planning. Second, higher wages were strongly associated with increased job demands. Respondent mentioned heavier workload, extended availability, and higher accountability. Third, this increased demand created a psychological impact. Several participants described emotional fatigue, stress, burnout risk, and reduced time with family. Therefore, employees apply what we call a sustainability evaluation. They are generally willing to sacrifice personal time personally, but they reject long term imbalance that threatens their well being. Now, I will explain how this differs across income groups. The second part of the key findings, which is research question 2, we have observed clear differences based on socio-economic income group. The first one, for B40 respondents, income is strongly linked to survival and financial security. Under economic pressure, they are more willing to accept overtime and heavy workload. For M40 respondents, the approach is more balanced. They seek income growth but try to maintain manageable stress level. They negotiate between progression and sustainability. But unlike T20 respondents, financial comfort is already achieved. Therefore, they prioritize autonomy, flexibility, and quality of life. Additional salary is less important to them if it increases imbalance. Overall, as financial urgency decreases, the priority gradually shifts from survival toward well-being and sustainability. Based on these findings, we have developed a proposed model. As you can see here, our proposed model explains how socio-economic income group influences financial security needs. First, when financial urgency is high, employees accept higher job demands. Sustained job demand lead to psychological strain. Employees then evaluate whether financial benefits outweigh personal cost. This evaluation determines overall well-being and job satisfaction. Next, I will briefly connect these findings to existing theories. Our finding align with several established theory. First, work conflict theory explain how work pressure can interfere with personal and family roles. Second, the job demand resources JDR model explain how high job demands can lead to burnout when recovery resources are limited. Finally, Maslow's hierarchy of needs and ERG theory explains why lower income employees prioritize financial security before focusing on higher level needs such as balance and well being. Therefore, our findings are consistent with both motivational and stress based theoretical frameworks. Finally, I will conclude the presentation. To conclude, this study shows that higher wages are not viewed as unlimited benefit. Although income provides security and stability, it often comes with increased demand that may affect mental and relational well-being. Employees are willing to accept trade-offs temporarily, but long-term imbalance is generally rejected. Most importantly, socio-economic background significantly shapes how employees prioritize income and work-life balance. Therefore, Sustainable employment require im- sustainable employment practice should consider both financial and psychological dimension to support employee well-being. That is all from our team. Thank you for listening.